Happy anniversary! Happy anniversary! Wow, this video was actually really delayed. It was supposed to be back on the 5th because it was my actual anniversary, but I was busy so I couldn't get to it. Here is a video to celebrate my 5th anniversary of playing Victoria 2. As, oh god, I remember first seeing this and EU4 back in September of 2014, and I actually played the demos for both of them. Now, EU4, I couldn't understand for shit, but Victoria 2, everything just fucking clicked with me, which I find crazy that I see people saying EU4 is like one of the most easiest Paradox games ever, and Victoria 2 is one of the hardest. Bitch, what are you talking about? It's the exact opposite for me. Everything for Victoria 2 made sense right off the bat for me. Wonder how the fuck that is. But anyways, I've played this game for 5 years now, and of course I've done, like, god, a dozen playthroughs, a bunch of AARs off screen. So I figured to celebrate my 5th anniversary, I was going to do a top 10 high score of my Victoria 2 games. Where I actually, since 2018, I've wrote down all the high scores of every game I've done as a reference and see how high I can go. So here's my video. I'm going to talk about my top 10 games. But before I do that, it's actually going to be somewhat of a top 11 because I'm going to talk about one country in particular. It's not in the top 10, but very soon, when I'm done it might be. And that's Burma. This was my first game as Burma, and I was playing on the Sir Light mod, which I've played numerous times before. It allows you to conquer all countries in one go if you want to. It gives you massive prestige penalty if you do not go to ally with anyone and help them out. Massive wars if you fall to communism and all this such. But anyways, in this game, as here's the current map, as I believe I was in 2019. Oh yeah, in this mod you can go up to 2035. It doesn't end in 1935. So it goes another 100 years. Burma is a democratic communist state. 5th place in the world is a great power with a score of 5,518. 341 prestige. It's that low because I kept declining a whole bunch of wars I needed to. 2,652 points in industry and 2,525 points in military power. 160.56 million people with a literacy of 76.2 million. An army of 621,000 men, which is having to be rebuilt because I had to deal with a whole bunch of rebels, and a war that was declared on me, and one of the biggest navies in the game with 167 ships. So yeah, I got all of Southeast Asia, the Philippines, whole bunch of Indonesia, and the Netherlands is under my puppet and sphere because I saved them from a war a long time ago, so they're part of it. And of course I have a whole bunch of puppets and spheres in Eastern Europe. When the Soviet Union collapsed, I broke up. And of course I took over a whole bunch of Mexico and Yemen and all of that. But I wanted to mention this game because, like I said, it's on the verge of being a great, in the top 10. And when I'm done the game, I think it will eventually be in there. But now we're going to get into the top 10 itself. So we start off with number 10, Japan. This is the first of 2 games that were not being used by mods. And this Japan game was my Japan South America Challenge playthrough I did back from December of 2007 to like the fall of 2018, where the goal was to build the Panama Canal and conquer puppet all of Peru and Brazil. I could not meet the challenge fully, although I came really close, as you could see in this map right here. It was a democratic conservative country, 3rd place in the world, so great power with a score of 5,949. 925 prestige, 2,007 industry, and 3,015 military score of 79 million people. Literacy was 84.1%, 2.265 million men, one of the strongest on this list, and a navy of 225 ships. Incredible. And this Japan game was the #1 army in the world, I do remember that. And some crazy things happened at game 2, like including me saving the Confederacy in American Civil War for a little bit until they eventually got destroyed because they asked me to go to war with them. I refused, and then when I was able to, they wouldn't invite me back in. So yeah, that was this first challenge. Now, number 9, Italy. This was my first game playing as Sardinia Piedmont on the Revolt mod, which I played before. I played it for my Hejaz game, if you all remember that. As I played this game for the first time as Sardinia Piedmont, as I tried to see how I could do and maybe form Italy, and then in the 1850s, the event popped up for me to form Italy. Eventually in the game, I fell to communism as a dictatorship, and I actually won all these world wars simultaneously. Back to back, I beat the French, Germans, Austrians, Russia, UK, all of them regularly. It was incredible. So in the game, we were, like I said, a communist dictatorship. The #1 power in the world, first one on the list, with a score of 7,383, 2,881 prestige, 1,141 industry, and 3,061 military. 120.02 million people, 91.6 literacy, an army of 1.337 million or 1.1 million, and 220 ships. As you see, I took a shit ton of Africa too. I was really lucky in that regard. Number 8, Japan. Yes, there are duplicate countries in this mod. I mean, it's on top 10 list, believe it or not. This Japan game was on the Sir Light mod, and I actually didn't finish it all the way. I decided to end it in 1935 because I was going to update the Sir Light mod to end in 1935 because of so much bullshit that happens in the post-game after that. But I decided to end this one right here because I have not updated the time ending yet. But anyways, this Japan game, the challenge was to take over as much of China and Asia as possible. Unfortunately, I didn't take over that much. Korea, shit ton of China. Matter of fact, I took over all of the Chinese empires, you see. Manchuria. Matter of fact, I took over all of the coastline provinces of China, parts of Southeast Asia, Bangladesh, shit ton of Indonesia, northern tip of the Philippines, and I actually got California from the Americans because their civil war broke out in that game. They actually struggled, and it was like dead even between them, so I was able to swoop on in and steal it from them. Quite a nice steal I got there. It was a reactionary monarchy, #1 place in the world with a score of 8,791, 1,108 prestige, 4,901 military, industry, and 2,781 in military. A population of 477.16 million. Jeez, 38% literacy. That was pretty bad. 1.6 million men and 203 ships. Quite an impressive game. I wish I was able to take over more of like the Americas and more of China and all, which I could have technically done because this mod still had 100 more years to go, but I didn't really feel like it. This game was actually getting really slow too, and all as the game went on, so I decided to just end it right there. And I had to deal with so many world wars against like Russia and the UK, and one of them I unfortunately lost because freaking Germany and France got destroyed. Meanwhile, they didn't invade me once, so it sucks. I couldn't just be able to win outright with me holding on. Number 7, Belgium. This was my first time playing as Belgium, and I did it on the Infamy mod, which my buddy Moonby made, which he got rid of all the Infamy crap, so you lose all your Infamy after a month if you got any. Anyways, this game, you see, I took over a shit ton of the world. Clobbered and beat the shit out of France because they kept falling to like a communist or fascist coup, so I was able to get rid of my truce with them. Shit ton of Africa, parts of the Middle East. Shit ton of China, Korea, parts of Indonesia. Shit ton of South America. And I actually took Florida and Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina away from the Americas because the Civil War broke out and they were weak. I actually invaded the Confederacy instead in that game, and we won it thankfully, but then America declared war on me to take back the territory, and I barely held them off and actually got some more territory out of them. So that was absolutely incredible and a fun game. Anyways, a liberal democracy, second place in the world with a score of 8,861, 1,174 prestige, 4,229 industry, and 3,457 military. Population of 255.8 million, 78% literacy, army of almost 1.6 million, and 145 ships. Number 6, Italy. Yep, Italy once again. However, this game was 2 Sicilies instead, and this game was actually an MP. Played multiplayer back in the early part of 2019, and this game was never finished with my buddy, so I decided to take the save file and just finish the game as myself because I really wanted to continue on and try and form Italy. Now, I don't really like how I did in this game when trying to form Italy because one of my buddies who was playing France made it easy for me to try and form Italy, and I had so much trouble because every time I tried to get the great power on the verge of forming Italy, fucking rebels would come in, ruin everything, I had to start over all over again. It was fucking bullshit, and I actually didn't get to form Italy until like the 1870s or something like that. But anyways, this game was more localized, as you can see. Shit ton of Africa, parts of Siam, a shit ton of China, and Manchuria. Didn't get to really take over much because I always had to deal with infamy and all. But hey, once again, I still beat the crap out of all the great powers that tried to fight me. Oh God, who would have thought Italy would be such a good country to play as? And I do eventually plan on doing a new game as Two Sicilies where I actually try and form Italy without any outside help. But the score was 9,743, 2,200 prestige, 3,713 industry, and 3,823 army. A population of 339.38 million, 71.3% literacy, 2.268 million men in the army, and 172 ships. Number 5, the United States. This was my first time really playing as America, and I did this on the GSG Vicky mod, and wow, what a game it was. I actually avoided the Civil War completely because I abolished slavery back in 1839 because I didn't want to deal with that crap. And man, I invaded a shit ton of the world eventually. I took over all of the main continental U.S. territories, all 48 states, Alaska, and Hawaii. Took over Cuba, Haiti, shit ton more of Mexico, like Maya and them too. I took over, I colonized a bunch of Africa too. I took over a shit ton of the Middle East, Arabian Peninsula, Iraq area, parts of Iran and all of them. Took over parts of Manchuria, Korea, and Japan too, funny enough. I invaded everywhere. This was the ultimate American empire, as you could say, as I did this game as a playthrough from September, October of 2017 to May 2018. Anyways, it was a liberal democracy, the #1 power in the world, with a score of 9,956, 1,703 prestige, 4,416 industry, and 3,836 military. Population of 231.4 million with an 86% literacy. The biggest army on this list of 3.1 million men and 126 ships. And I got another game as America coming up very soon. However, there's a little bit of a twist to it, so I can't wait to show that once I finish and get working. Now, number 4, Russia. This was my first time playing a full game as Russia. It was my Russia playthrough, which I did from February 2017 till, like, I think October of 2017. And oh my god, what an incredible game that was. As I actually industrialized really, really quickly, if I believe. I was actually able to do full-blown laissez-faire capitalism like America. It was incredible seeing how high the industry score just kept going up and up and up and up and up all the damn time. As I took over a shit ton of Africa, Central Asia, and took over parts of Europe too. I had a blast. As a liberal monarchy, I was barely the #1 power in the world at the end of the game with a score of 11,191 with 1,744 prestige, 5,104 industry, and 4,342 military points. A population of 214.228 million, 98% literacy. Think about that, 98% literacy. An army of 1.17 million. It was that low because I just fought a big war, if I remember correctly, so I had to rebuild. And 153 ships. Now, of course, I'm doing a brand new game as Russia on the Infamy mod to try and take over as much of Europe as possible. When I get back to doing those group streams again, I can't wait to see how I do. Number 3, the German Empire. This was my first full game playing as Prussia, and I was playing on the HFM mod, the Historical Flavors mod, which is a spin-off of HPM. And the goal in mind was to try and form Super Germany. However, I couldn't get there, but I came pretty close. I actually formed Germany in 1852, 20 years early. And oh my god, I was not fully in store of what the great power Germany was going to be. As I just beat up and destroyed all of Europe. France, UK, Italy, Austria, the Ottomans, Russia. I single-handedly would beat them regularly without any trouble. Holy shit, it was incredible. As I took over a shit ton of Eastern Europe, I beat the crap out of Russia, almost out of there completely. I took over Denmark. I've puppeted Norway. I actually broke up Austria completely, which felt great. Took over a bunch of Africa. I actually had puppeted the Netherlands too, and I took all their colonies in Indonesia as well, which felt really great. I actually had an island in the Caribbean. and took over Indonesia's territory in South America. I had Persia and Saudi Arabia come to me as puppets. They actually offered that as an event for me, so I took that. Took over a shit ton of India from the British, and took over Korea and Manchuria, and beat the crap out of China to get some stuff out of them. At the end of the game, I actually was trying to get like a massive like World War III or 4 started, where it was going to be the British, French, Austria before I broke them up, and Russia going up against me and my allies, Italy, America, and Japan, but that never ended up happening. But I had a great time playing Germany in this game. And in the end, it was a conservative monarchy, the #1 power in the world, with 11,487 score, with 3,833 prestige, which is the highest on this list, 3,755 industry, 3,899 military score, with the biggest population on this list, with 582.96 million and 98% literacy, 2.58 million men, well, 0.58 million, I mean to say. Smallest navy, though, 109 ships. So yeah, I had a blast playing Prussia for the first time in foreign Germany, but next time I need to try and go big and actually try and form Super Germany. That's my next goal. Number 2, Spain. This was, of course, my Spain Infamy mod playthrough from Moonby, who I just mentioned earlier with his mod. I did this game from November 2018 till this October 2018, when I just finished it a week or so ago. As like I said, you could take over everyone in the world because there's no Infamy anymore. It disappears after a month or so. And man, what a giant empire I built up. Took over almost all of South America, Central America pretty much, West Coast of America. Took over a shit ton of Africa and Asia and all. Wow, that was great. I took Spain, who was in like the worst position of all the great powers, and made them the #1 country in the world with a reactionary democracy, with a score of 13,509, 1,304 prestige. The biggest industry in the game on this list, 6,410, 5,794 military, population of 491,240,000, 65% literacy, a brigade strength of 2.88 million men, with 230 ships. Now, as incredible as that sounds, wow, 13.5 thousand points? That's still only number 2. It's now time for number 1. And now, here we go. My number 1 all-time scored game on Victoria 2 is Scandinavia. This game was played as Denmark on the Sir Light mod, and I actually formed Scandinavia in 1842. That's how good I was as my first time playing Denmark. Anyways, of course, like I said, this is the Sir Light mod, and this game I actually played in full, so this game was 200 years long. Now, if you want to deduct that because, hey, you played 100 years more, so of course you're having number 1 score, fair enough, but I didn't update the thing at the time, so that's why I did. This game took almost 2 years to do. I started this game back in August of 2017, and I didn't finish it till April of 2019 because it was that long. Anyways, oh my god, I explained this fully in my AAR video of this game, but basically after 1935, the game went absolutely crazy. America depopulated like all of Europe, not to mention all the civil wars and shit that broke up in Europe, so I guess that didn't help much whatsoever. America just could not stop growing no matter what. They ended up, believe it or not, despite my high score, which I'm going to mention here, I was only 2nd place in the game in terms of my great power rank, and America blew me out. Was like 3 times bigger than even me, funny enough. But after that, all of Europe went to shit, and it was so crazy in the end of the game, I was basically the America of Europe. All the great powers in Europe at the beginning of the game. The British, French, Spain. Well, actually, no, Spain survived and was a great power. Prussia, Austria, the Ottomans, although they were a great power, Russia. So of all the great powers in the world at the beginning of the game, only 2 of them actually survived, and they were the weakest ones, believe it or not, the Ottomans and Spain. All the other great powers were broken up into smaller states and sphered and puppeted by me. I owned all of Europe pretty much, effectively. That's how incredible it was. As Scandinavia expanded out towards the Africa, as you could see, Indonesia, and all of them, New Zealand. The game was just weird and incredible. But anyways, I was a liberal democracy, number 2nd in the Great Power Ranking with a score of 15,563. Yeah, think of that. 15,563 and still not even #1 power. That's how incredible America was. America had like almost 50,000 points. As I actually beat him in a war too, surprisingly, but it wasn't enough. Anyways, I had 1,667 prestige, which is actually pretty good considering the fact this is a Sir Light mod, so I did not get involved in a lot of wars. But when I was the great power, #1 power in Europe, I was able to go into wars more often. I had 5,362 industry. I had the biggest military in the game, 8,263, mostly because of Navy. Population of 195.84 million, 95% literacy, 1.536 million brigades, and the biggest Navy in the game, 363 ships. And those are the most recent ships too, so wow, think about that. That is absolutely incredible. So with that, that is my top 10 Victoria 2 high scores of all time. Who knows, maybe, like I said, with that Burma game coming up, this might change very, very soon. And who knows, maybe when I get to 10 years or whatever, we'll see if the list changes even more. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to watch my AAR videos, and also check out all my playthroughs, including my 2 current ones, my Vuvuzuela HFM playthrough, and my Korea New World Order mod playthrough. And I might have a couple more eventually coming up very soon, so check out for that later.